Hey, it's the nerdy sports fan. We're getting into the offseason, folks. So let's start the conversation about what the Jets are going to be dealing with in this offseason. So I'm still reeling from last offseason from this team. It's nuts what went on with the front office, okay? GM brings in Adam Gase. Gase, bang, elbows him the fuck out halfway through the season. Just, Duder definitely flexed some power as soon as he got to town. And it's odd. He doesn't really have the pedigree to really flex that kind of power. He hasn't won a Super Bowl. He's been on staffs that have won and done good things, but yeah, he wasn't the cause of that. So, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get why Adam Gase was given so much authority over what happened last year. He doesn't really warrant it. But, in fairness to him, the GM was not on the same page. And the coach, being the more recent hire, is the person that has more juice. He's the guy who's gotten more energy behind him. The owner is all sorts of jazzed about this dude. And then he sees, hey, front office isn't really working well together. What's going on? My guy that I just spent some money on to bring in and coach this young quarterback, he's not happy. This is what happens in the NFL. Okay? Owner sided with the coach, gave GM the boot. Gase has all the power. So they're not going to make the dumb moves like signing Le'Veon Bell, hopefully. But you don't know. You just don't know. You don't know how this front office is going to operate moving forward. They can blow all the smoke up the ass of the fan base they want, but until we actually see how they operate with this new structure, we don't know. And you can only hope that it's going to do well because, man, is Sam Darnold a talent that you do not want to waste. You got to build this man up, okay? He's very obviously developing pretty well all by his lonesome. So if you surround him with the right sort of situation, you can have really good things happen there. And they haven't given him an offensive line. Okay, say all you want about the Ryan Khalil signing. You drew the man out of retirement, okay? It's not like there was a lot of tread left on the tire. There's still all sorts of problems on the offensive line. And Sam Darnold's bearing the brunt of that. Why do you want your rookie, or second year, third year now, quarterback who's still developing to have to deal with 300-pound men lying on top of him way too freaking often? It just it boggles the mind. So, looking at the free agents that you have to deal with, there's Khalil, obviously, who was on a short deal. Robbie Anderson's leaving. Well, maybe. They might sign him back. Depends on how Darnold has really gelled with him. And I think there's something possibly there, but not enough really of a sample size to know what's going on behind the scenes, chemistry wise, how these guys really work together. Excuse me. You got almost $54 million in cap space to work with. You don't have really crucial free agents. So there's things you can do in this free agency and in this draft, especially with how deep it is at receiver, that can fix some holes on this team. And assuming Gase is the right guy to lead this whole operation, it could be a relatively quick turnaround. So with that amount of cap space, there's a lot of Band-Aids that you can put on all these gaping wounds, and you might be able to stop the bleeding and actually get a cohesive team together. The offensive line really needs to be addressed. Okay? There's no two ways about it. And offensive tackle really doesn't have a lot of talent in free agency. I mean, you got Whitworth, you got Jason Peters, but those guys might get re-signed, and they're really at the end of their career anyway. So if you're going to get an offensive lineman, you're going into the middle of the line, really. And I don't know. You can always get a guard or a center in the draft that can step in pretty early in their career and dominate, even into like the third round of the draft. Some of these guys, they're undervalued. Okay, linemen are so undervalued, it's insane. Just Quentin Nelson changed things for the Colts. And I understand there's not a Quentin Nelson prospect, but deal with it, okay? If you fix the interior offensive line quickly in one offseason, a draft, whatever, all of a sudden your running game is stronger, your quarterback plays better, and just that little bit more time lets receivers break open. So now they're getting more catchable balls. It just, every single bit of the offense starts with what happens at the line. So getting enamored with skill positions like they did last offseason in signing Le'Veon Bell and just making the interior offensive line a total afterthought boggles the damn mind. So yes, that's why the GM got the boot. But are they really going to be able to fix that situation? They need to make the right decisions. Okay, they need to create the culture, which I don't think was enough of the focus. Excuse me. Khalil did well for what you can expect out of a guy who came out of retirement. Do you want to hang on to him? He's probably the best interior lineman still available. It's a matter of whether or not he wants to come back, whether the money's right. He would eat up a lot of that cap space and would prevent you from really doing some other things. So you can fix the line through the draft. It's been done, but more likely I think it's going to be a mix of things. Okay, they're going to get some maybe second-tier veterans, which really is any guard. Okay, like there's no stud guard in free agency right now. So if they pick up a guard to fix the interior line in the free agency and maybe draft a center, that makes sense to me. Just two positions on the offensive line, fix that middle, and everything else improves. From that, the defense was stout. Okay, give this defense less time on the field, and they're going to be great. Greg Williams knows what he's doing, man. And he had this unit playing. They were playing hard, real well, all season long. They were just on the field too damn long. The offense needed to get righted. And, Sam Darnold's young, but that line just, everything got sucked out of all of the skill positions by the line just being terrible. So with the $51 million, you got to hope, really hope, that Adam Gase is not going to be a tire fire in the front office like the front office in general was last offseason and through the season. And hope they make the right decisions. Are you going to get like a Ron Leary, maybe, in free agency? That could help. I'm sure he'd like to work with a young quarterback that's going to do well. But they already kind of have that in Denver, so he might stay in Denver. There's not really much available out there. Scherf, maybe. Brandon Scherf could want to go. He's been in Washington, so they're terrible. almost anything's an upgrade from Washington. So, yeah, you might be able to lure him away with some funds. And who doesn't want to play in New York? Well, the Jets don't because they're in Jersey. But, yeah, you can tell him it's New York, and he might believe it because, advertisers obviously do. But, yeah, that's what I think needs to go on. Obviously, the dog agrees. And I'm hoping for you Jets fans out there that this is the offseason, that they finally pull their heads out of their collective asses in the front office and just focus on football and not flash. Okay, they don't need the big splashy signing. They need substantive work done in the trenches. It starts at the offensive line. If they don't fix that, I expect Jets fans to be just rioting in the streets. Burning effigies of Adam Gase in front of the stadium because it's obvious to everybody who watches this game that the offensive line needs a fix. If Darnold has any sort of progress, you give him a line, this is a good team. Just like that. That's what I have to say about it. Obviously, I'm rambling about one or two specific points, but they are so freaking important to this team, it's nuts. If it doesn't happen, they better just sell the team to Gary Vaynerchuk now because he wants them and he wants to do something with it. This ownership might not. So, keep the conversation going, guys. Tell me what you think your beloved Jets should be doing in this offseason. Tell me what you think the biggest problems were last year that you got a plan to fix it this year. I want to hear it, okay? Let's talk because we got some time before free agency and the draft kicks in so we can imagine all sorts of wonderment for our beautiful teams. Hope springs eternal in the NFL offseason. We're all undefeated right now, guys. Keep it in mind. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Hit me up in the comments. Check out the rest of the videos. I'm doing one of these for every team. Check you next time, guys.